Boys and girls, it is time. It is time for some Peggle. I am beyond excited for this. Mainly because it's a game that I actually want to play. Let's go! But this is like... This and Plants vs. Zombies are like PopCap's aces. These games are unbelievably good. And I'm like marginally good at them. I'm good enough that I'm gonna be able to get through the story mode with no problem. But I doubt I'll be going for 100% or stuff like that. But maybe I will, who knows? But the perks of this game being popular is that it's one of the few remaining things that's PopCap related that you can still find on the App Store. Let's go. But I was very much looking forward to this. To the point that I shelved Tukey for today because I wanted to dedicate as much time as I can on this. Because apparently my family has something planned tomorrow, so I'm gonna be woken up early. But I can squeeze in a semi-long video before I have to go to bed. It'll be fine, I'm sure. Don't go in the trash, please. Yes! Brilliant. Oh, this is the first level that I remember pretty distinctly, because there's a challenge for this level to only beat it in one ball, and it is real rough. Though I think you can pick any Peggle Master to beat it with, which makes it a little bit more fun. If you could only do it with Bjorn, it would be kind of ridiculous. Damn. Ooh. Oh, if that had gotten the orange, that would have been really cool. I think in Peggle Knights you can speed up this final thing. This game is simply fun. Simply enjoyable. Though, weirdly enough, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, because tomorrow is July 5th. And for context, I used to work at Chick-fil-A way back in the day, like back in high school. And something that I remember very distinctly is that on July 5th, there is zero business, because everyone is at home eating leftovers. And the few people that wouldn't normally eat leftovers already ate Chick-fil-A for lunch or catered or did something the night before. So very few people go out and buy fast food on the 5th of July. So I'm just gonna go in tomorrow and it'll be dead silent. And I'll just be able to jump straight to the front of the line, get my food, and be out of there in like 10 minutes. So that'll be fun. But to those of you that have somehow never heard of this game, it's broken up into sets of levels. Each level you take control of a different Peggle master. And we just got done with Bjorn, who's like the tutorial guy, basically. And this is Jimmy Lightning, whose gimmick is multi-ball. Not amazing, especially because of how random it is, but I think it's still okay. I'm getting dangerously close to the edge here. Okay, I need to stop effing around. Okay, we take those? Uh-oh. Yeah. Very close. But I think you can already see the problem. It is extremely random. And there's a good chance, like that the extra ball does jack all. All the oranges are parked all the way down there, huh? That was cool. There we go. Yeah, therein lies the problem. Somehow it didn't yeah, it only hit like right there and nowhere else. Jimmy ain't the best, but he's cool, so that makes up for it. Kind of. That would be a great superpower to have. That no matter the situation, you could just get away with any situation just by saying that, yeah, you're cool. So I'll let you get away with it this time. Literally, like a side character in a badly written sitcom of like, oh, this new guy, and he's cool. And I would normally be really harsh, but you're cool, so I'll let you off with a warning. And then immediately juxtaposed by the main character who's frazzled at all of this, doing the exact same thing and getting yelled at as if he just broke a priceless vase. I'm more than a little jaded, because when I was at Friends of the Family's house when they had Community on, but it was late seasons of Community, and it was bad, and we all knew full well that it was bad. And unfortunately, with late seasons of Community, it seems to be, because I've never watched Community, it seemed to be the kind of thing where it wasn't even like funny in a bad in a funny way. It wasn't bad in a funny way, it was funny in a bad way. It was just really odd and abrasive. I don't know the best way to describe it. But it just, something just felt off. It felt kind of like, you know what? Yeah. It felt like later seasons of Big Bang Theory, where it just devolves into characters just being abrasive a-holes to each other, and that's just the plot of the episode. Like, there's not really any character development or anything. The characters are just dicks, and then the plot sort of revolves around them being a-holes to each other. And not that they're gonna learn. At the end of the episode, they're still gonna be terrible people. It's just that now they're terrible people who have one more interesting experience they can talk about during lunch breaks. Not my favorite Big Bang Theory. Especially because I've heard a lot of people say, and I don't 100% agree, but I can definitely see where they're coming from, that Big Bang Theory has a very destructive view on nerds. And for a show written by nerds, it treats nerds like aliens. And kind of just has them do their weird nerd thing and has the audience laugh at them. It's not... No one's laughing with them here. Everyone's laughing at them. And it just comes across as really douchey. It's like, yeah, this is an episode about Star Trek. Isn't it so funny that some people really like Star Trek? Like, it's not even laughing about Star Trek. It's laughing about people who like Star Trek. And basically take that situation and apply it to most nerd culture. And you start to see where the problem lies, because it's also very repetitive. Couple that with, you know, as weird and abrasive as Sheldon is, Sheldon clearly has something going on. And his friends are, like, he needs better friends, frankly. Like, Leonard is fine, but every once in a while, it comes across as extremely rude and demeaning. Even though Sheldon is rude and demeaning back, that doesn't make it okay. I don't know. That's just my soapboxing, though. Ooh. I remember this level in particular being quite challenging. But you know what I think part of the problem is with Big Bang Theory is it has a very antiquated sense of what a nerd is. Because I feel like that is one of the largest generational shifts between my parents and myself is the evolution of what it means to be a nerd. It has changed so much. Because when you think about what a nerd is in the context of someone who grew up in like the 80s or 90s, or like the 70s, 80s, 90s, the word nerd has a very different connotation. You think like you think like a pocket protector, you think like, what am I thinking of? The glasses, braces, very like abrasive and know-it-all, or very like abrasive and a know-it-all. Like the personality of the know-it-all kid from Polar Express, basically. And it may sound like I'm pulling this out of thin air. I feel like that's pretty accurate, as far as like the stereotypical depiction of a nerd in the past. But I feel like what defines being a nerd has gotten so much more in-depth and also more inclusive. Because there's also that sort of implication, maybe not racially, but very, there's a sort of sexist angle to it as well, that, yeah, who ever heard of a nerd who's also a girl? And that has been all but removed by modern ways of thinking. Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of sexism in the workplace. That is going to require some serious scrubbing to deal with. But in terms of, like, thinking about nerds, it's a lot more open nowadays, which makes me happy. Now, the trouble is, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and it's also not... the battle never really ends there. Just try and go into a multiplayer lobby of any first-person shooter and say that you're a girl. And you will see immediately what the problem is. Or particularly, who the problem is. Because there's not always someone who acts like a horny little wank, but every once in a while there will be one. And all those things that I just said, like lauding the general society for thinking like nerds can be whoever, all that kind of crumbles when you talk about very specific kinds of people who are, undesirable, shall we say. Horny bastards. But I mean, at the same time, there's going to be people like that in basically every community. There's gonna be, there will always be racists and bigots and generally just very odd people, aggressive people. And part of like thriving in a community is learning to tolerate and or shame those people. Because if they don't get a red flag that what they're doing is wrong, they're just gonna keep doing it. So part of the battle is shaming them into stopping that behavior. Now, what we don't want to happen is bystanding, because that's something that I've noticed happens a lot in the TF2 community. One of the many reasons why I heartily dislike the TF2 community is that, especially when it comes to, I mean, hackers, obviously, people are kind of just awful when it comes to dealing with hackers, and we'll just ignore them wholesale, even when they are clearly using an aimbot. The rest of the lobby will just ignore them because they don't want to deal with the abuse. And when it comes to people just loudly yelling racial slurs in voice chat, as long as it's not in voice chat and it's in text chat, they will do absolutely nothing. Most of the time. Unless it's like really, really egregious. It's just annoying. Because it's something that you need to tackle as an entire community. And that's difficult to do. I forgot to mention Garfield, the third Peggle Master, and another one of the lessers, the Pyramid. The Pyramid is not incredibly useful. It has its moments, but generally pretty mediocre. Really? Talk about threading the needle. Oh. I'm not bad, I swear. Also, at the end of the day, I am just playing pachinko, so... This is me huffing my copium, but after a certain point, it is not my fault. Because, you know, chaos theory. There's only so much math you can do to solve a situation before you just have to throw caution to the wind and hope that it works. This should definitely be better. That was cool. That was really cool. I will say, out of the four Peggle games, this is definitely the least interesting. Or, I should say 6, really. It's not the worst. The worst is Peggle Blast, and it's not even close. I will eventually play Peggle Blast, I think. I've decided I'm not going to play the, I don't think I'll play any of the EA ones that are on console because I don't have an Xbox. And I don't really intend to get one just for this. But I do still want to play Bejeweled Stars and Peggle Blast, if just because I'm curious. Like, I know that they're both trash, but it's like, it's similar sort of thing as Yik, a postmodern RPG, that, like, there's a certain merit to playing it and having it not only for Archivist's sake, but also just to see why it's bad. Because I could talk all day about just the things that I've heard about Peggle Blast, but that wouldn't get me anywhere. Because, like, whoopee. Peggle Blast is apparently really bad, very grindy, and full to the brim of microtransactions. But you guys don't get anything out of that. Those are just words. This level's particularly mean. Why did I do that? I feel like part of the issue as well, I was mentioning like that issue of being a bystander with with regards to the TF2 community. There's a larger issue that I think that stems from the anonymity of the internet. Because when you're just a username and you don't have any sort of accountability for your actions, barring, oh no, I might get banned from a Discord server that I can just join with and all. Like, consequence means very little on the internet because of how many ways there are to get around consequence. Because at the end of the day, it's the worst that a Discord moderator can do to you. Get your Discord account banned. That's really it. It's not like you're serving jail time for being a troll on a Discord server, because you're anonymous past a certain point. Oh my god. Yeah, it's better. I would have popped off if that hit the purple. This level in particular, I remember being very hard. Any level that involves, like, blocky shapes that aren't easily slid upon get really, really hard. Warren, in particular, comes to mind, because his levels have a lot of those, and they are some of the hardest levels in the game, if not for the fact that, you know, Lucky Spin is really, really, really good. There we go. I'm actually cruising through this. Granted, I'm only on World 4, so I feel like this will definitely be a two-part affair. Nah. I remember the Splork levels being very, very challenging. I have a bit of an interesting dilemma as well that I've kind of been kicking around in my head. Regarding Pixel. I did a little bit of research because I was curious. I had always heard that Pixel's work, obviously Cave Story, had been, the IP had essentially been stolen from him by Nicholas. But like with every article and every video that I watched, the answer got cloudier and cloudier and cloudier. Because it originally boiled down to, yeah, that sounds like something Nicholas would do. Freaking Tyrone. I don't have a lot of respect for Tyrone, but the more I read about it, Nicholas may be a shit company, but I don't think they actually stole the Cave Story IP. They did try to steal the La Mulana IP, which is a whole different story. And nowadays, just like the La Mulana developer, Pixel publishes under Playism instead. But it seems like it's a whole thing. It's a whole can of beans and drama that I don't fully understand, and I'm not engrossed enough in this area to really say one way or the other. That was awful. I had a plan in my mind for how I wanted to do that, and then I just did something random and it did not work. I wonder how long I should make these episodes, because we're already at 35 minutes. I was tempted to make them a full hour each, but I I'm getting cold feet about that, because we're already on Splork. And if my napkin math is right, as long as I don't hit a stone wall on one of these later chapters, it's gonna leave us a bit shy if we do hour-long segments. But I think if we do 40s, that'll work out. So after this next level, I think is what I'll call it. Also, before I stop, there is an Easter egg that I found just when I was screwing around in the title screen, because I remembered an Easter egg in Peggle Nights that I remember seeing, and I tried a similar thing, and it ended up working. But I'll show that off in a second. Brilliant. I had a friend who actually did a choral performance of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which is the symphony that has Ode to Joy in it. And not only is it hellish, because Beethoven doesn't know how to properly compose for chorus. That's a rant for another time, though. The other thing is that, it is really, like, the Ode to Joy bit is extremely loud, and also all in German, which, I mean, fair. That's Beethoven. Thank God. I remember that level being a massive pain. So me getting through it that quickly is a good sign. This is one of those games where, like, I mean, I feel like I need to talk, because why else would you be watching the video beyond just watching Peggle gameplay? But, the dopamine does kind of speak for itself sometimes. Alright. I think I stop here. Because I have half of the... I'm a little under halfway there, because there are 5 masters, and there's gonna be... Yeah, that should do. I'll make it 3 parts. Because it'll be 5, and then... No, I've only done 4. What am I talking about? I'll do 4, and then 4, and then 3, basically. But let me show this off real quick. Hang on. Oh, what? I guess it just doesn't do it more than once then. So I guess I have to explain this. If you play out Ode to Joy, it takes you to a secret credit sequence. That's sad. I was hoping that it would do it a second time, but I guess not. That Easter egg also shows up in Peggle Nights, but in a slightly different way. I'll have to try it then. But that's all I got for now. Thanks so much for watching.